Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, I welcome you all to the subject digital image processing. This video is from chapter number 3, the image transforms. Up till now in this subject, into the previous chapters, we have actually introduced you people to the subject digital image processing chapter 1, and in the chapter 2 we have seen the fundamentals of digital image and its processing. So in this chapter we actually started with what exactly the need of image transform is. So I hope you are very much familiar that the image transforms are now very much handy tools which provide us the convenience to work with many complex tasks that are complex into one domain but very much simpler into another domain. So hence we switch from one domain to another domain to have some kind of advantages to extract some more information while working with the images. So now we are covered now up till with the very first very popular image transform, that was two-dimensional discrete Fourier transform, which switched the image data from spatial domain to that of the frequency domain, representing with the help of complex coefficient. The second and the most popular image transform we have seen the discrete cosine transform, which also switches us from spatial domain to that of the frequency domain but representation with the help of real coefficients. So here discrete cosine transform provides us the property of energy compaction. Energy compaction is achieved at high level as compared to discrete Fourier transform, and also it is worked for the image compression purpose to save the memory while storage purpose or for transmission of the image data. In the previous chapter, in the previous video, we have also covered with another important transform, that is Hall transform. It is the very basic and prominent member from the family of wavelets. So whatever the advantages of wavelet are there, that is the time information that was not possible to have to work with the discrete Fourier transform or discrete cosine transform are available. The spatial information is provided with the help of wavelet family. So not having the continuous duration, the infinite duration sinusoids, but the wavelets of short duration with varying frequency, we can have working with the image processing. Now this is another transform which is quite simple as compared to the discrete Fourier transform, discrete cosine transform or the Hall transform, but offers some kind of simplicity with the help of the shape of that particular one we are going to work with, as like also with the transformation matrix that is having the very selected levels. So let us begin with the topic Walsh transform. So here we begin with the Walsh transform, the another image transform in the digital image processing. So regarding Walsh transform, we talk about very first of all the Fourier analysis is actually the basic representation of a signal by the set of orthogonal sinusoidal waveform. See, in every image transform, or if you are talking about in general signal processing, simply the transforms have a criteria to have orthogonality. So orthogonality is must whether the basic functions are either sinusoidals or non-sinusoidals. So sinusoidal waveforms are actually the basis functions for the Fourier analysis. The coefficients of the representation into the Fourier analysis are called the frequency components, and the waveforms are actually ordered by the frequency whether to go from low frequency to higher frequency. Next, Walsh, the inventor of this particular transform, in the year 1923 introduced a complete set of orthonormal square wave functions to represent these functions. So see, the change from shifting Fourier family to that of the Walsh transform is that instead of using the sinusoids, we have the square wave functions to work with the Walsh transform. So that was invented in 1923. So this was the first change. The computational simplicity is offered by using the square wave functions into this particular Walsh function, due to the fact that the Walsh functions are real valued as well as they take only the two values that are either positive one or negative one. Hence the very first difference is that instead of the sinusoids we have square wave functions. In the Fourier we have the complex coefficient, where in the Walsh transform we have the real valued coefficients. The only two logic levels are taken, that is +1 or -1. That is why the Walsh transform provides some kind of simplicity to work with the images, or simply the two-dimensional data we can say. Next, we proceed further. As we have the images to be the two-dimensional signal, we first of all understand what exactly the one-dimensional Walsh transform is. So regarding this, we have this information. The Walsh transform is slightly different from others. Suppose we have a function represented f of x, where x ranges from 0 to n minus 1, and the capital N, the order we can say it 2 raised to the power small n. So here we can use the binary representation for x and u. So x for the spatial domain representation here. So we need the n bits to represent them, and we can represent x suffix 10 is equal to, in the bracket we have b n minus 1 of x to b0 of x. Here the base can be given 2 for the binary representation. So for one dimensional Walsh transform, we take the example. In this example, suppose this f of x has n is equal to 8 samples. So in that case, according to formula onto the last slide, we can have small n is equal to 3. So 2 to the power 3 will give us the complete order, that is 8 number of samples for this particular example. So now let us consider f of 6 here. So x of 10 will give us equal to 6. That imply x2 will be equal to 110 in the binary. B0 of 6 will be equal to 0. B1 of 6 will be equal to 1, and B2 of 6 will be equal to 1 here. So the positions into these binary representations 0, 1 and 1 are represented B suffix 0, 1 and 2. So this is very much important as we work with the Walsh transform. So in the one-dimensional Walsh transform, we have the definition now for the one-dimensional transform. So that can be given with the help of this transformation formula. So for the forward transformation, we can have representation by capital W of u. So this is the transformed image sample or transformed signal we can say. It is given by 1 upon capital N summation x is equal to 0 to n minus 1 for f of x multiplied by the pi function ranging from I equal to 0 to n minus 1 for minus 1 to the power bi of x bn minus 1 minus I of u here. So this is the direct transformation formula to work with the Walsh transform. So this is also equivalent to this particular formula, where instead of this particular bracket we have this particular representation. So the forward transform, the transformation has the kernel, and these kernel values are obtained by this particular form. So capital T as a function of u and x will be the same, that is capital T of x and u given by this particular formula 1 upon n. In the square bracket we have pi having I ranging from 0 to n minus 1 minus 1 to the power bi of x bn minus 1 minus I of u here, or this representation from the second formula can also be worked to have the kernel values determined here. Therefore, the array or the group that may be formed for the Walsh matrix as a real symmetric matrix. So as in the previous slide we have seen the binary representation for the value. So those particular bases right from 0th position, first position, second position, we can have the combination and form the array here. So it is easily shown that it has orthogonal columns and rows. So the matrix will be following the orthogonality for the rows and column. So we would like to write a Walsh transform in the matrix form now. So we define the vectors. The vectors, for example, f vector will be equal to f of 0, f of 1 up to f of n minus 1, the transpose of the vector. W will be the vector, it will be for w of 0, w of 1 up to w of n minus 1 represented with the transpose again. Hence the Walsh transform can be written in the matrix form, that is W given by the transformation matrix multiplied by the F vector. So this will be the transformation matrix. So the relationship between the input and output of the Walsh transform, with the help of this particular relation we can talk about. So as mentioned in the previous case, the matrix capital T is a transformation matrix and it is having the real values. It is also symmetric matrix following the orthogonality with respect to the columns and rows, and we can easily show that it is unitary and therefore. So for the unitary case, the transformation matrix and its transpose, if it is multiplied, it gives us the resultant with the identity matrix. So here T inverse will be equal to n into T transpose equal to n into T. So n is the size of the signal under consideration. This was for the one dimensional Walsh transform. So as like we have forward transform, we have the inverse Walsh transform also. So based on to the last equation on to the previous slide, we can show that the inverse Walsh transform is almost identical to the forward transform that can be given with the help of this particular formula. So in the forward transform, W of u, that is the transform into the Walsh domain, we can say that was onto the LHS, and f of x was acted upon the Walsh transformation function, the kernel we can see here, the kernel given by this particular square bracket. So the above equation is also represented in another way. The another way, instead of this particular square bracket, will be minus 1 to the power of summation of all these particular products we can have. So the array formed by the inverse Walsh matrix is also identical to the one formed by the forward Walsh matrix apart from the multiplicative factor n. So this is actually the simplicity that is offered into the Walsh transform. So after understanding one dimensional Walsh transform, let us move on to understand the representations with respect to the two dimensional Walsh transform, as our signal is two dimensional image sample. So we define now the two dimensional Walsh transform. So the straightforward extension of the one dimensional transform will be here. So while we switch, here we have the two summation signs for the two dimensions. The W of u will be along with W of u comma v. So dimensionality has been added, hence the formulation can be extended this way. The another dimensional two dimensional representation can also be given. Here the kernel is represented in another way for the two dimensional transform here. So the inverse transform can also be given here with this formulae. F of x will be the output here. So it will be into the spatial domain, x and y, the two spatial coordinates, and these are the Walsh domain coordinates u and v. So the two representations for the inverse Walsh transform from two dimensions we have with these particular formulations. So to talk about the implementation, the two dimensional Walsh transform also provides the separability property. So as like in the case of discrete Fourier transform, discrete cosine transform, or discrete of course Hall transform is also a discrete one, where we can have a pair of one dimensional transformation to achieve the two dimensional transformation, that is possible with the help of Walsh transformation also. It also provides the symmetric property with respect to the transformation matrix. So therefore it can be implemented as a sequence of two 1D Walsh transform that we have talked in the fashion similar to that of the 2D DFT. So basis functions of the Walsh transform, if we say, so we can have to remember that the Fourier transform is based on to the trigonometric terms, whereas the Walsh transform consists of the basis function whose values are only 1 and minus 1. So as compared to simply 1 and minus 1, remembering and working with sines and cosines will be definitely a complex task, a difficult task. So Walsh transform offers the simplicity. They have the form of square waves. These functions can be implemented more efficiently in digital environment than the exponential basis functions, that is the complex representation of the Fourier transform. So these are the advantages offered with respect to the basis functions, and of course finally the Walsh transform here. So the talking about the kernels of the forward and inverse Walsh transform, we can say that for the one dimensional signal, the forward and the inverse Walsh kernel differ only by a constant multiplicative factor of n. So whether we have to go for forward transform or the inverse transform, the transformation matrix has a very simple change, that is a factor of n. So that is quite very much simple to remember. So this is because the array formed by the kernels is a symmetric matrix having orthogonal rows and columns. So its inverse array is the same as the array itself, following the orthogonality. We can say that is the most criteria for the image transform. In the two-dimensional signals, the forward and inverse Walsh kernels are identical. So the concept of sequency is with respect to the Walsh transform matrix, transformation matrix, we can say. The concept of frequency exists, so it is actually referred as sequency here. We can think about the frequency as number of zero crossing of the number of transition in the basis vector, and we call this particular number a sequency. So in the next subsequent lecture we are going to work with the transformation matrix of this particular transform. So where we see how many number of times the coefficient crosses the zeros, so that calculated number we shall refer to as sequency there. So computation of Walsh transform, if we say for the fast computation the Walsh transform, there exists algorithm called the fast Walsh transform FWT, as the discrete Fourier transform has the extension that is FFT, fast Fourier transform. This is a straightforward modification of FFT. The advise any introductory book for your own interest. Walsh transform offers a comparable computational simplicity. So I hope you have understood with what exactly the Walsh transform is. It is very simple. So I hope you are understanding it well. In the next lecture, I am going to take the MATLAB program to work with this particular transform. So for such better topics, better information and more topics of this particular subject, the practical understanding with the help of MATLAB, you can subscribe to Ekeeda channel. Thank you.